Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you how I went about trying to get the email addresses for all of these speakers that attended a conference. And I'll share with you just what the process is, what tools I use, and then what I learned from that whole experience to hopefully share, so hopefully you can avoid some of these pitfalls that I came across. So, so the nice thing about conferences is that they usually list their speakers or like the sponsors or whoever, like their partners or whatever that are attending the event. And that's just like fertile ground for trying to find email addresses. It gives you like the names of the people. It gives you some context in terms of like what their expertise is, so that when you send over an email, you can make it pretty contextual, make it relevant, catches their attention. But sometimes they just don't post their email addresses, understandably so. And in this case, they don't post their domain name or their website name for the company that they work for. So what I'm going to do here is try to find the domain name or the website. So luckily, Clearbit uses a tool, or Clearbit is a tool that I use to try to find that domain name. They have a free API, which is very generous. I think you can make like 50,000 API calls for free, which is really cool. So for my case, that's just way more than enough. And what it does is it turns the company name into the domain name or the website. And from there, we can start to figure out, with the name of the person and the website, we can try to figure out what their email address is using some other tools. So what I did here is I copied this nice table and I put it into Google Sheets, which looks like this. And then from here, I'm using an extension or an add-on called Epiphany. It's called Epiphany API Connector, which is a really cool tool. And what it does, it allows me to do an API call into Clearbit and pull the information into Google Sheets really, really fast and really easily. So I'll spare you the details of what that looks like, but the output looks like this. So it grabs it pretty much just brings back any matching results. So now I have a list of these domains, right, according to the presenter, which is nice. So now that we have the domain name and the names of the presenters, so now we can use another tool or tools that I'll share with you, some good and some not so good, where we're able to get the email address of the speaker. So I used three tools. The first one I used was Tomba, Tomba. The other tool that I use is a free email finder tool by happierleads.com or .io, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And then what other tool did I use? Oh yeah, I used Hexamatic. Hexamatic has like an email discovery, and I'll share with you the one that just blew the others out of the water. But the quick recap is Toomba didn't return any results. They have an extension. I actually created a video to send to the developer, like, hey, this thing's broken. It just doesn't work, which is unfortunate. And I used the web app, and it didn't return any results. In fact, it gave me like something just way off, like the contact of a different company altogether. It didn't even give me like a result from the domain name I was looking for. So Toomba was just like 0 for 2. It was just pretty terrible, which sucks because I'm a customer and I want to see them succeed, but that's just the harsh truth. The other tool that I used was Hexamatic. So Hexamatic has, let me switch over to them. So now we're in the workflow of my Hexamatic dashboard, and this is what it looks like. So I just copy and pasted all the domain names that were returned, put them in here, and ran an automation to pull all the email addresses. I think the max was like up to 20 from the domain name. So it just kind of scrapes online or looks online to grab any email addresses that matches the domain. And then the other one is an email scraper. So their bot or their crawler, whatever they use, they visit the domain name or the website, and then they just try to hunt for email addresses. It's not so great because usually it brings back like contact@.com or like support or something like that. What I'm looking for is the personal work email address of the speaker, right? So I just did this one for fun, just to kind of see like what it brought back, and the results weren't that great. Um, it doesn't, it just wasn't, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So that's kind of like I was 0 for 2, and then a more manual sort of method that I used was Happier Leads, and they have um, a find email address tool which is free. It's not automated, which kind of sucks, but I think it's definitely worth having a look if you're doing like email outbound email in batches of let's say 20, 40, 60, something like that. That's kind of manageable. I think anything above 100, 200 is probably just way takes way too much time. You might want to find a way to, or maybe like another tool that lets you do kind of like this mass bulk of pulling information. But what I really like about Happier Leads is that you are able to see the decision maker. You get their email address, and then you have the link to their LinkedIn profile, which is really cool. So this is super informative. It saves you time to kind of figure out like who the decision maker is. The one thing that you might want to do though is verify the email. So there's other tools that you can use. You can use I think it's clearout.io. You can use there's a bunch of these tools out there that helps you verify email addresses. But essentially, this particular way of trying to get the email address is, I found it the most useful. But like I said earlier, the drawback is that you can't really automate it. So Happier Leads, if you're listening, it'd be lovely if you guys can open up your backend, create an API where we can pull in all of these contacts into Google Sheets in particular, in my case. So that's it. That's how I'm going about trying to find the email addresses for these presenters at a conference. Let me know what sort of tools work for you. I mean, maybe there's something that I can use that can help automate this process. But right now, this seems to be something that I can do that pulls in pretty accurate results.